Sunday, nice breezy Sunday, not too hot, nice little breeze. Starting to feel like fall now. But again, I appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great day. Appreciate y'all for being in here. What's up, Hockey King? Good to see you. Good to see you. Again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. You're having a great day. Just taking a little walk. But since today's Sunday, I like to have a little religious talk on Sundays. Came from church today. If y'all know, I play at my church on Sunday, so it was a good service. Not as many people came today. Once again, sorry I've been. Yeah, a lot of things going on. Understandable, a lot of things going on with me in my life as well. But I want to talk about church. I've been in the church all my life, and sometimes the worst acting people, they go to church. They be in church every Sunday. They hold offices in the church, but most of them had the worst attitudes that you can ever see. And so a lot of people, they kind of avoid church because they may get criticized. How you doing, Elisa? Anuki? How you doing? But a lot of people, they avoid church because the way they treat it. And me being in church for basically all my life, a lot of churches seem like clubs, honestly. How you doing? Caris, Gag, G-A-G. But appreciate you for subbing. A lot of churches, they act like clubs, When they see somebody visit the church or something like that, they just look at them and stare at them like they don't belong there. And the church supposed to be, church supposed to show love, even to people they don't know, show them the love of Christ and stuff like that. When you go to a church, and you start to question, is the people in the church really followers of Christ, or they just was raised in this tradition of going to church, praising God, shouting, and then when they leave the church, they're the same way they were when they left. And the thing I've remembered ever since I was younger, the same people in the church go down every Sunday to pray over the same situation, and you question their faith, their growth in God. You question, does this thing work? Does this faith work? I think that's an honest question a lot of people ask. That's not really stuck into traditionalism. They ask the question, is this faith a real thing? And so, it's a lot of things that we encounter, a lot of experiences we experience going through life as we get older and older. Does this faith actually do, prove anything, But I think that people judge salvation off of attending church or going to church, but uh, that's not a rubric to show that you're saved, quote unquote saved, salvation. I feel like that's not a rubric or a scale, if you will, to determine if someone is, a true follower of Christ or not, And I've seen people go to church, ever since they're young, going to church, and then they end up doing something horrible and end up, some, place, they don't want to be, So there's a lot of things with that, that people, people judge people, people judge people because they don't go to church. But that's not a true, litmus test to show that somebody is more saved than the other person, I know people that stay home and have their own prayer life, and they study the Bible, and they study and they practice what they read or study more than the people that go to church, And so we can't judge people's salvation or faith based off of if they go to church or not, we can't judge it off of that, but we judge it by the fruit that they give, And I'm an honest person, when it comes to religion, If I have doubts about things or I don't think myself is less than the other person, who has a so-called assurance of what they believe, because people believe all types of things when it comes to church, some people believe if you don't speak in tongues, you're not saved, My parents, they from Pentecostal and Baptist background, holiness background, but it's sometimes it's more than just that, it's just more than that, know how to speak in tongues and all that stuff. When it comes to religion and Christianity, I feel it's more than that, it's more than that. And so, again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. Got some in my beard. I hope you're having a great day. Yeah, I feel it's more, more to life than people say, But yeah, I just want to talk about that today. This might be a shorter one, but it's not just going to church. A lot of people go to church and they think they're more saved than other people, But again, appreciate y'all for being in here. Says I can't hear you. It's kind of windy. It's very windy. Yeah, it's a lot of wind out here. But appreciate y'all for being in here anyway. Yeah, appreciate y'all for being in here. But talk to you guys later. All right, peace.